years old.
Okay.
We'll see what Sean thinks. I figured out, Sean, yesterday. Well, first, let me just ask you right off the top, and good morning, and I want to get into your world over the last week. But if I had you on stage and I was offering you $10 million and I said you have to get the answer to the question right, the question, Sean, is if you took all the pee you've ever peed in your entire life from when you were an infant till now, would there be enough to fill the average backyard swimming pool? Would you guess yes or no?
Gosh dang, that's a hell of a question. 10 million's on a line?
Yeah, bro. At $10 million, it's a yes or no.
You're talking about a full in-ground swimming pool.
I'm talking about your average backyard in-ground swimming pool. Average.
No, I'm going to say no.
Okay, and I think, hold on, let me do some math. Yes, I know your age. Yes, the answer is congratulations, Sean. You get the millions of dollars. I figured the average human urinates 1 to 2 liters a day. The average size of a backyard swimming pool is between 50 and 70,000 liters. I believe at your age you would be in the very high 40s. You have to be, I think, low to mid 60s in order to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say probably halfway through. You still wouldn't. You know how you tell your kids we can't get in until it's a new pool. We can't swim in it yet. That's what it would be. And they'd say, well, I want to swim in the pee too, so let me jump in there. So either way, there you go.
You know,
I just won $10 million. Where's my check?
That's right.
Congratulations.
It's in the mail.
Bonneville will be sitting that along the way. Also,
yeah, I've heard that one before in my life from people. Hey, Sean, it's in the mail.
I also want to know, and we'll get to football, did anyone ever figure out, was the old wives' tale we heard as a kid that if you peed in the pool, like they had a chemical in there that would turn it purple? Yeah. That's not real, right? Because that would be...
Well, I could tell you this. I tested it in Hawaii. It ain't real, dude. And I figure in the ocean, it's free go because the salt water kills it anyway, or somebody's drinking it. So, hey, why not? If you test it, now one of these times I'm going to test it, and it's going to go red, just like the old you got to wait 20 minutes to a half hour to get back after a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Mom and Dad, are you full of crap? Yeah. Anyway, pay attention. That's right.
Hey, listen, and heartfelt congratulations. Yeah. I can't even wrap my mind around marrying off one of my children. You had the opportunity to do that. I explained on the air last week. Great, the best possible excuse to not do the show. You're off in Hawaii, not only hopefully enjoying your time there, but also seeing one of your kiddos betrothed. Congratulations to you and your baby.
Thank you. Now, say that again in about a year when my daughter, who's now engaged, just got engaged, when she gets married, I'll either kill the guy or, love him, one of the two.
Right.
It'll be different. Like, wait, that's my baby girl. You better make sure. Now, my son can handle himself. He married a great family. She's a phenomenal young lady, and couldn't be, brings tears because I couldn't get through it without crying something. It's my middle child, but my first one married, and it hit me because him and I are extremely close. And I couldn't be more proud of the man he's become. And, having it in Hawaii and then him and I being able to go play golf alone and with the group and having all my kids there, it was a special experience. And Hawaii's Hawaii. Even if it was an average, something you didn't want to do, it's like it's Hawaii. But it was planned, well, simple, and they looked fantastic. And he is a great husband and a great father. He reminds me of my dad. And my dad was phenomenal, just the traits. And she's a lucky woman, but he's also a really lucky guy, and I couldn't be more proud of him. I love him to death, and it was an awesome honor, so thank you.
That's awesome. I was going to ask if you got anything fun in there. Well, it sounds like you golf, though. That had to be great golfing out there.
Hey, listen, what's crazy? Well, you're spraying it around, but it's Hawaii. Like, I snap-hooked that ball, but it's good. But on the same hole, if you go and look at Manalani's, signature, it's the 15th, where it's the ocean behind it, a pretty long par 3. And I don't want to pat myself on the back, but when it comes to golf, every now and then you got to, because most of the time you're looking for your ball. But, the sights and sounds are awesome. But back-to-back days, I hit an iron to that green, and wind was kind of blowing sideways. And I hit the first one to 2.5 feet. The next day, I hit it the same hole to 5 feet. The first one I thought was going in, and I've never made a hole in one, and which is typical. Sean, great shot. 3-putt both greens. Great. So you take your par. So I didn't make birdie on either one, but the beauty of those courses, even if you're not playing well. So, yeah, we had some fun, too, and it was, when you – thank you.
Sean Salisbury joining us. All right, so my Niners, dude. Bubblegum and string for the first 3 games. Nick Bosa out. And Trevor Lawrence was not only not sacked, there was not a single hit on him. So we can obviously get into the game and all that. But when I saw that stat, I thought of you. Obviously, you playing under center in the NFL. There's got to be something when you know there's a pretty decent chance you're not going to be picking turf out of your face mask. Is that something you're aware of as the game goes on, the lack of the pass rush getting to you that maybe helps you, whether it's physically or mentally, through your reads and calm down a bit? Because that's what seemed like Trevor was doing.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Bad quarterbacks become average ones become good ones become great when you're sitting there with the jersey. Yeah, Dave, I think it's a great point. You do notice it. There's a couple now. You don't usually get that when you walk off the field. You say, "Damn, I started, we won," and they don't even have to wash my jersey other than the little sweat hanging out a little bit because my line. And on my team, we had a really good advantage of it because we had Innerman and Randall McDaniel on the same, both in gold jackets. You know what I mean? So, But yes, you feel it going on. You say, "Damn." Just kind of like you draw it up. You know when you're saying, "We're not going to give up any sacks." All the goals you set up, it's like, damn, this one came true. I didn't get a hit. It's not even just the sacks. Man alive, I feel bad for the rest of the guys that are getting hit because this is clean. And then the confidence rolls and you think there's nothing they can do. And when you're not hitting a quarterback, and Trevor Lawrence, who's had his ups and downs in his career, and their defense has actually reared their head a little bit this year. So when you're not hitting the quarterback and they're making plays on one side of the ball enough against a good 49ers team that's trying to get better, and on the other side you're forcing quarterback fumbles and picks, it's a really good – you can beat them in the parking lot, beat them on the road, beat them at home. So, yes, but you are very aware because you'll go through it and you'll say, in the middle of the third quarter, you're like, good gracious, I normally give my line a high five for, man, you guys keep battling, we're going to get through it. And now you're sitting there, not only keep battling, man, I guess I got to give you an early season bonus and take you out to double dinner this week because I have not been touched. And I can tell you this, the easiest thing in the world, I heard Aikman on a couple broadcasts ago, you really, when you're not getting hit and the quarterback has 3.5, 4 seconds to deliver the ball, every one of us should be in the Pro Bowl with that kind of time. And it's a problem right now for the 49ers, no doubt. And they've got to protect the football, and Brock's got to be better.
Sean, this season already has had way too many injuries, but it seems like it happens every year. I'm curious, as a former player, where you stand on this. On Sunday night, it was a great game, great theater. We ended in a tie. I hate them, but I'm not the one out there getting hit for 4 quarters plus. Where do you stand on ties? Do we need a resolution in those regular season games? Or are you comfortable with it?
I think it's the worst thing that we get. We got gimmicks all the way around. In baseball and in football, as a guy who's been through, getting through and trying to get to overtime, why can't we adopt something? Hell, we got gimmicks all over. Even if you're going to give me a gimmick or the college way, I'd rather have that. We should have no sport ever end in a tie. And I know we have soccer and go through penalty kicks, but in truth, it never should. 40 to 40, and people say, well, what about injuries? Well, don't tell me the NFL cares, because guess what? You're going to turn around and play 4 days later on a Thursday at times. So I don't want to hear that. And they make enough money. They've got 53-man rosters and more, and it's okay. You play whether it's put them on the 20, have a field goal kickoff, which I like in any game like that for all 3 phases have to come into play, which they finally did, which I've been begging for 15 years or however long it's been, to give both teams at least one possession. We've been waiting on so now offense, defense, and special teams all come into play in overtime because you got to kick, you got to cover. Then you get the ball back and your offense is on the field, and if they score, they got to kick and cover, all those things. I love the new overtime rule. I hate the fact that we don't play sudden death afterward, that you do for 1 quarter, but the game needs to be extended. Well, Sean, an extra hour. Oh, well. Oh, and what am I supposed to? No, he can't go. Well, you better have good depth on your roster, and you better be deep, and you better understand. Most players don't want to quit in a tie either. This is a dumb rule. It should never exist. And a game like that where 80 points are hung on the board, we got to close it out. It's awful, and I think it's a horrible, horrible way to end a game. We don't need a tie category in the NFL.
Why did the Chargers lose to Jackson Dart and the Giants? That was interesting. First game in there, Chargers have been, I know they'd had a couple of escapes, but still in a lot of power rankings, the number 1 or number 2 team in the league. They go into New York. You got no Russ Wilson. You got this rookie go in there. What was your takeaway from that?
Yeah, and Dave and guys try to come up with try to describe this league week to week. It's nuts.
All right.
And if you're a gambler that relies on it, you're probably an idiot. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And we all like to bet. It's like, man, the NFL, this is nuts. I'll tell you why. One is that energy at certain every year. We don't get undefeated teams where you're out of sync. You travel across country. Quarterback's not as sharp as normal. You get another offensive lineman banged up, and before you know it. And I've always said this, and it exists in everything. Like, for instance, the Reds and Dodgers. Francona's done a great job. You let the Reds hang around in a 3-game series, the Dodgers can lose this series. Same thing. I've seen it happen a million times. The team who's not supposed to win hangs in it. Third quarter. Now you get to the fourth quarter, and now what happens on the sideline? You start looking around to your own teammates, and you're thinking, uh-oh. Now it's one player, one series instead of a full game away from one bad mistake they capitalize. And I'm going to tell you something I believe big in-game momentum. I'm not a game-to-game momentum guy, confidence-wise I am, but game-to-game, in-game momentum. They have a quarterback who brought a different energy. Everybody responded. Even though his numbers weren't gaudy, if you watch the game, and I watched the whole game because I wanted to see Jackson Dart, I would have started him out of the preseason. And sometimes I don't believe in it. I think Russell Wilson is because he's a backup in this league now. He was a backup in New York. He's got to have a bunch of guys around him to bring energy. And I think that Jackson Dart's energy was real and not manufactured at times. And I feel like that with Russ Wilson at times at this stage of his career. Been a hell of a career, but Jackson Dart's a better player now, regardless of the 400-yard passing game. It's just the people around. You saw the way the defense responded. It isn't just your offense. It's the way guys respond. And it wasn't just the gaudy stats. That's why stats can be overrated. The energy on the first drive. He goes down there, boom, they're going. And you saw Brian Dable's hug at the end of the game. It was almost like he said, dude, I got a chance to save my gig here. It was just a different feel. And it permeates, man. It does. And some guys go into a game, one bad thing. Look what's going on with Cincinnati. One bad thing happens, and watch them. They were pathetic. And again, there's a different energy that goes on, and Jackson Dart found that. Now, to sustain it's a hard thing, but they had it, and they showed it. And in the end, the difference between a good team and a bad team in the league normally is quarterback play, about 2 or 3 players, and about 6 to 8 plays a game. And the Giants did it better than the Chargers did this past weekend.
Sean, something we were talking about earlier from last night, the 2 Monday night games, the injury to Tyreek Hill, which looked awful. Looks like he's obviously going to be done for the year, and we don't know what he'll be again after this. But his reaction was interesting in the fact that, he's kind of applauding when he's leaving. He was, it just, what was your read on how he handled that?
Oh, yeah, first, you're right, the gruesome stuff, and you wish him well. That's unfortunate part of the game, but the part of the game that none of us want to watch a replay and none of us want to see. Guys, I still have not watched after all these years, and I've interviewed Joe a million times. I still have not watched a replay of Joe Theismann and after the first live one of Theismann and Lawrence Taylor. I've still not watched it. I've been a guy who blew out his knee twice, but that was different. And I've had a compound fracture as well. I couldn't. I'm not. I won't watch and still haven't after all these years. So I haven't watched the replay of the injury either, and I won't. But the reaction was odd, and I still don't get it. I'm trying to figure it out and give him the benefit of the doubt. Was it was it a smile, but that grimace smile that you get?
Sean,
but it almost looked like a happy smile. Yeah.
Sean, sorry, I was talking about this earlier, and I have a theory. I dislocated my knee in basketball in high school, and I know NFL basketball, but still, it's the same injury. Tore everything, and you did this too. So I'm curious. When I was taking a ride to the hospital, I had like the craziest euphoric feeling. And so I started looking it up, and it's like when you get that injury, you get flooded with dopamine and all this stuff. And I was like, it was like there was almost no pain after it being horrific pain. And then I was in like the greatest mood for like 15 minutes, almost like an out-of-body experience. And I was wondering if that happened to him. And also, now that you talk about it, if you remember anything like that happening to you.
That's a great point. And I think people do react different because for me, it wasn't the physical pain.
Yeah.
I can remember the first time it happened with the sidelines. My mom and dad were at the game. My pops came down like a parent would. Mm-hmm. And when they tell you, and that look the trainer gives the other trainer and then the coach,
yeah,
you're like, oh, no. And it's like seeing the reaction of my pops and him putting his arm around me, it's going to be okay. For me, it wasn't the physical pain. It was I was opposite of you. I got no euphoria out of it. Mine was this is going to be grueling. And because it's the first time it really ever happened to me, it was a season-ending, oh my gosh, what's going on type of injury, right? With the lower half. I had it, in high school, some injuries, but nothing like, and it was going to be the first challenge that way. And then the second time, my thought hit me of, I was pissed. It was at Arizona State again, same field, same side of the field. Then I shredded it ACL this time, and my thought, I made him put me back in the game. I taped it up like a mummy. I went back out there and I dropped back to pass, and I put my foot in the ground and I fell to the turf. And I was so angry and upset because then it hit me like, what's this going to do the rest of my career? That hit. So I was opposite of you. There was nothing about me that was happy, but watching him, maybe he hit what you hit, the dopamine you're talking about, or maybe it's one of those that you're clapping your hands at, okay, now I'm going to hit this rehab, or maybe whatever it is that's going through his mind, only he'll be able to answer that because some have, but it was not the physical pain. For me, it was the mental and emotional anguish that I went through.
That's Sean Salisbury each and every week, brother. Again, congratulations to you and your family. Glad you got some time out there. And, hey, man, you're not going to have as much fun this week, but hopefully we get some good football. We'll talk to you Tuesday.
There you go. Can I say one thing real quick?
Of course.
To all you young turn guy, fair catch the ball on the 2-yard line. Could we please get some football IQ, Jets? Oh, that's right. They're 0-4. Yeah. What a shock when you saw it last night. So we'll catch that up another time because I guarantee you some guy's catching a punt at the 5-yard line this week and going to try to return it. So around the league. We'll check it out.
Amen, brother. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye. That's Sean Salisbury. We will take a break when we come back. More of the show. Got an hour and a half left.